Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms. We're continuing our series on solar. Today we're going to be talking about solar array placement, where we're going to put this in our yard. In this case, this relatively modest solar setup is located in this best spot for my property. Is it ideal? No, and that's why we're calling it the best spot for my property. Things you're going to need to know is the first thing you're going to need to know when positioning your solar array. You want your array to face towards true south. That's different than magnetic south. And if you're going to use a compass like this one here, you're going to have to realize that that will give you the magnetic south reading. But you're probably going to want to look at a website or download an app that tells you what your true south is, because the magnetic fields are changing daily. They're actually moving around some. And so at our house, when I set this up, it was actually 7 degrees off from the magnetic south to true south. And so that's important. You want to maximize the amount of time the sunlight is going to be hitting these panels fully. And so for hitting it at your true south, that sun's going to rise on the east, it's going to come up over the mountain range here, and it's going to hit my panels. In the wintertime, it's going to hit them for about 3 to 4 hours at the worst month of the year, which is January for us, or late December, early January. And in the summertime, it's going to be out for 7 to 8 hours a day on all of these panels. So that is excellent charging capacity when that is happening. And so we're looking at our setup here. Do I want to have it so it is backed up into the woods? And honestly, where I have mine right here, it may be a little hard for you to see. I'm a little too far back. I've got some trees along the side here, you can see, that are blocking about an hour's worth of sun in the summertime. And when we build our new panel setup here, we're moving it forward about 3 feet to compensate for that. But so that's the first angle you're going to want. You're going to want that pointed at your true south. Now you'll notice these panels are also sitting at an angle. That's called declination. And the reason those are like that is we want it to face where the sun is going to be as far as the height in the sky. And of course, during the summertime, the sun's position will be much higher in the sky here in the northern hemisphere versus in the wintertime, where in my location, and let me show you my location here, it's actually in the trees, which is why I get so few hours of actual sunlight in the wintertime. You can set up a system, and this one is set up for it, where you can move the panels up for winter months and down for summer months, so you can catch even more of the sunlight. What we found here on my property is that due to the trees being so high up there and blocking the sunlight in the wintertime, that really didn't give any increase, and actually gave us a little decrease in the amount of output that this panel array was willing to produce. So I leave it in the summer mode now. Now, as far as what angle to use, you're going to have to look that up. It's very dependent. The farther north you go, the more likely those panels are going to be almost upright. The farther south you go, the more likely those panels are going to be almost flat on the ground, depending on how close you get to the equator. And so that is something you'll also have to look up on a website like this one here. It'll give you an idea of the best angle for your location. But again, think about what I just said. Just because the computer or the app or the website tells you, oh, you want this at 60 degrees, it's quite likely that in your position, due to trees or coverage or whatever, you have a house in the way, something like that, that you're going to have to slightly change the south-facing angle and slightly change the declination of your array. That's pretty much the big part of this. Like I said, for winter, we can roll it forward. For summer, we can roll it back. If you're living out in an area that has a wide open space, that is going to give you a slight increase in output in the winter months. For me, it doesn't really help much. The other thing is, in the wintertime, having it up a little bit does make it less likely for snow and ice to stick to it, because it's going to roll down that. And when we have coverage on our panels, that actually really reduces the amount of output. Usually here, if we get a good snowstorm, I come out, I brush it off, there'll be a layer of ice, but the reflection from the sun on these dark colored panels usually melts it off within 1 day. So we only usually suffer the day of the storm and the day after the storm before the system goes back to producing full output. Now you can see this system here. It's, like I said, it's a very modest one. At the time I built it, I felt like it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I've learned a lot since building this thing. These are 100-watt panels. You can see they're a mix of different types of panels. That's okay. You can mix and match. It's not the most ideal, but when it comes to cost, feel free to do whatever you want to do with that. The system, though, is set up on a very basic looking mount. And I did keep this a little bit off the ground. Hopefully it shows in the video. I've got about a foot clearance between the top and the bottom here. Some people will run it right to the bottom. I didn't want to have to deal with weed whacking so close to the panels. I didn't want to have to worry about bumping this with a tractor going by, so I chose to give myself that little extra space. The panels themselves are not bolted to any kind of metallic racking behind it. So what I did in order to give myself a better setup here is each panel is bolted to a wooden 2x4 frame that lives behind this. These 4x4 posts are in the ground. This is pivoted. There's a huge anchor bolt here and on that side that allows me to move this system up and down. And there's 2 spots on these 4x4s up here to move this system. Like I said, it turned out we didn't need to do that very often, but it is possible to do it. Important thing to remember when you're doing these panels though is that you do want this to be grounded. There are 2 threats that can come in through this solar array. The first one is static electricity. This is an aluminum metal rack, and so the larger a piece of metal you have, the more likely it is absorbing electricity from the air. Really dry in the wintertime, you're going to pick it up. Storms in the area in the summertime, you're going to pick it up. You want to have this grounded, and the way I did that for my paneling was that each one of these is connected through a steel bolt, both up and down, left and right, and then I have on one end a ground rod pounded into the ground 8 feet and a ground wire going to that. So the entire system is grounded. The other bigger issue, of course, would be lightning. A direct hit from lightning might destroy this rack, but it should not destroy all the controllers and everything else that's in there, because my solar charge controller, my inverter, and of course the array itself is all grounded through a ground rod. Can I guarantee you that that won't be damaged? No, but it's a layer of protection and it's a smart one. I've also found, for those of you who are fans of my radio gear videos, that lowered the noise floor that solar panels produce, that solar systems like this produce, because you do get some interference from the process of creating energy from the sun. I'm not exactly sure why, but I bet one of you does. And so it's out there, it's a thing. Now, because of my setup, I am at true south, but I am not exactly at the right angle because of those trees. At your house, you may have a wide open space, or you may be up against large trees. The other issue you run into with that is that even by shading that much of this one panel, I'm reducing the power output of the entire array. So it's important not to have partial shade through most of the day on any corner or any part of this panel. If you have a tree that's creating some shade, it's a good idea to cut it down. Even the shade that comes off of these posts here in the late afternoon can cause some reduction in the capacity that it charges. The only reason I've left it is, like I said, I can raise and lower. Now this array is coming down and we're going to put a much larger one up as the summer goes on, but it's served me very well since 2020 and I can't complain about any of it. The amount of energy that it has produced, the amount of money that it has saved us, this system paid for itself, and it is not going anywhere. We're disassembling it, we're moving it to another part of our property, and it'll go to power fully one of our barns, so that's kind of cool. All right, that's it. I will see you next time for part 3. We'll talk about charge controllers in part 3, and it's great. I hope you're enjoying this series. I hope you stick with it. This is something that I wanted to do because so many videos that I had to watch, so much research that I had to do when I built this, and there was so much I wish I had known that I'm trying to fit it all into one series for everyone out there. Till next time, my friends, take care.